Hello. I decided to record this video and talk a little bit in this video about motherhood. Now, motherhood is one part of our lives. Now, we have four roles, as you all remember: a wife, a woman, a creator, and a mother. So mother is 25% of our life. Whether it's going to be our children or maybe our projects, we do nurture something or somebody throughout our life. So I decided to record this video and talk today about motherhood because most of the ladies at one point do become mothers. Now, those that don't, they nurture something else. They nurture either their projects or their career or something else. But let's talk about motherhood, as it is a vital and huge part of our life, kind of. Now, this is probably the first time when I speak about something in theory, because I'm not a mother as of yet. So I will give you the theory that was given to me. So what I will tell you is based on energy and based on a systemic approach to life. So I will tell you how ideally the motherhood role should be, and then you will decide whether it's working for you or not. But this is in ideal. Now, I didn't experience it myself. Usually any subject that I give here, I experience myself. So if you will ask me about relationship with men or money, I mean, I have a lot of experience in that, and I went through different kind of stages, and I can speak about it again and again and again. But motherhood is something that I didn't experience yet firsthand like that. Now, I do, however, have a couple clients that are mothers, and based on their feedback, these rules, they did help them a lot to become better mothers, to become more self-sufficient women, and their relationship with kids like really improved. So these are just people that I worked with. I mean, I also have friends and colleagues that have kids, and also their experiences as well. But it is not my experience. I'm telling you that ahead. so you know that. But I will share this this knowledge with you. Hopefully it will be useful for you and for me too at one point of my life. Now, I want to tell you something. Even though motherhood, well, nurturing part is a crucial part of our life, of any woman's life, it is not always, it doesn't happen like when you want it to happen, basically. You need to be ready to be a mother. Like, our mind, it is a biological thing, and our mind will protect us against something that we are not ready for. So as a woman, I am a woman all the time. I just need to kind of to add something, to remove something. As a mother, I really need to be ready in my mind and in my energy to become a mother. So this is something to keep in mind. Now, I'm going to go through some statements, and I'm going to explain them. Again, this is energetic and systemic rules to motherhood, basically. So if you don't agree with this, I mean, that's fine. But this is the correct way. If you will think about this, it has a lot of sense to it. Now, I also wanted to add that in our society, maybe motherhood is not as fashionable. I mean, I live in Miami, and my clients are mostly from there, so it's not as desirable as probably in some parts of the world. But still, fashions change, so who knows, right? It might change as well. Okay, so first of all, the child comes when a woman is ready. So when you are ready, as I said, mentally and energetically, the child will come into your life. Those women that get pregnant by mistake, got pregnant when they were raped, even though it was a chance and it was an accident, they still somehow were ready for it and craved that experience. So nothing happens just because. It just doesn't. Maybe a woman was dreaming about having a family, maybe to have a husband, to have kids, and then suddenly she got pregnant from a random stranger, but she still wanted, so that means that she wanted kids more than she wanted this fulfilling kind of family. Now, a child chooses the mother, not the other way around. So you don't choose what kind of child you're going to get. It's the child that chooses you. Child chooses both parents. Just like we chose our parents, our children will choose us. Now, usually it depends on our energy. On our energy, usually children coming to teach something us, and we have to teach something them. So usually it is either opposite energy or the energy that we're missing or something like that. If you will look through it, if you look at your patterns, you will see that your parents are probably opposite energy that you. It's always like this. Like me, I don't have energy of air. Both of my parents are energy of air. They were challenging. I mean, I love them very much, but they were really, it was a challenging experience for me, but they taught me a lot. And I look at my aunts, I have a lot of aunts, and I look at their kind of kids and the same thing. So it's very rarely when in the family there is a kid and a mother with the same energy. It usually doesn't happen like that. So it's a child that chooses it chooses the mother, not the other way around. Now, a child also chooses the father. So if you're not happy with the father the father of your kid, remember, it's not your choice. It's the child chooses the father, and you basically just, for the better of everybody, accept that this is the father of your child. He is the best choice for your kid. So be be nice to the father. It would be ideal if you would admire him. I mean, if you have a child with this man, chances are you felt very secure and very confident and very strong with him, at least at one moment, at least even maybe in those half an hour that you were with him intimately. I mean, but you did. Like, I know couples that live with men for years and years and years, and they never, even in intimacy, feel secure with them enough to get pregnant. So with that man, you felt that security. Now, and here, this is what exactly I put. If you cannot have kids, and I had a couple clients like that, and one suddenly got pregnant, like it was a miracle. But it was not a miracle, and she knows. All her family thinks it was a miracle, but she knows that it was a really deep work with herself and with me. She didn't work as much with me, but she did listen to what I said, and she worked with herself, and she really created that sense of security around her. So if you are not ready for the child, if you are not ready energetically and mentally for the child, you will create the circumstances that will not allow you to have that kid. For example, maybe suddenly you will be they will find out that you could not have kids, or maybe your partner is infertile, or maybe some other circumstances. But those are all those are just things that can be changed. It can be changed. I saw it with myself, and I saw it in my life with some people. I remember this woman, she was very young, and very little, even not young. She couldn't have kids, and at one point they couldn't even adopt a kid, but at one point they were able to adopt a child. And half a year after, she was pregnant, and then she was pregnant again and again. So basically, it's not really like as long as you have the organs to have a kid, you will have a kid. As long as you prepare yourself mentally and energetically. Now, being obsessed with being a mother doesn't mean that you're ready. Sometimes it means that the society is pressuring you. Maybe society, maybe relatives, maybe your partner, maybe somebody else. But honestly, I'm telling you, as a person who went through this, until you're ready, you will not have a kid. Until you are ready. You're ready energetically and mentally. As long as you know that you're going to sacrifice maybe some of your life to this new person, that you will have to, that you want to experience this this kind of beautiful experience. I mean, you carry a new life, you give birth to a new life, you nurture that new life to bring to to adulthood. I mean, it is a different experience, and unless you're ready for it, no matter how much society pressures you, I doubt you will be able to get pregnant. I doubt, honestly. I've seen couples that are so obsessed with having kids that they're going through different kind of procedures, this and that, and everything, and nothing is just nothing happens. And why? Because through conversation, I can sense that the woman doesn't really want to have kids. Yes, she's going through all of this because she gets pressure, but really inside her, she's absolutely fine without kids. So being obsessed doesn't mean that you're ready. It's usually never. It's like you trying to prove that yes, I'm ready, but honestly, you're not. Now, the child is in the same energy field as the mother, not the father, the mother, until approximately 11, 12 years old. So when the child is 11, 12 years old, he starts separating little by little. But until then, it is in the same energy field. So even if you take the child away from the mother, he still feels the mother, still in the same energy field. So if the mother is, for example, upset, sad, the child will feel, even if he's not next to the mother, even if he's far away. That's why it's important, in many cultures, it's important that until the child is at least 6, 7 years old, he stays with the mother, because it's crucial for the child's mental health, for overall energy. He needs to be close to the mother. So make sure that you don't separate with your child very fast and very soon. Spend some time, even if you are a career obsessed businesswoman or if you are a busy socialite, spend some time with your kid, at least an hour a day, just to be fully immersed into this experience with the child. Spend the time with the child. It is important for the child's overall development of his or her energy. Now, after the 12 years old, he or she will start separating from the parent, and this is normal. This is when separation starts at that age, and slowly he will separate, or she. Now, at this time, until the child is in your energy field, it is important to watch your thoughts, watch your energy, watch your feelings and emotions. That's why this is what they say: happy mother, happy kids. Now, very important that you are really feeling good, that you don't have unnecessary fears, worries. The child feels all of that, and he will prioritize you over himself or herself because you go first in the system. Remember, the older links in the system are always in priority. The child is a weaker link, so he will be sacrificed for the benefit of the older link. And you don't want that to happen. You brought the child, so let the child develop and grow and be a happy self without your fears, without your worries. So try to watch yourself. If you think that if you are not showing your fears and worries, the kid will not feel it, the kid will feel it. He's in the same energy field. He will be worried and doesn't know why. Like I can tell you from my experience, my whole childhood I was rather unsettled and worried. And why? Because my mom is energy of air, so she's unsettled and worried like that. And that was, on the other hand, I also learned how to be light and kind of easy going because of that. But that unsettlement is sitting in me for a long time. So make sure you're strong enough for the sake of your child and for his kind of benefit. This is exactly what I put. Childhood traumas come from the insecurities of the mother. And if you will look back into your life, whatever you have problems right now, probably your mother had these problems. If she had trust issues with men, you probably have trust issues right now, even though she probably never said nothing like that. You felt it, and now you have trust issues. So when you have your own kids, make sure you finish your work with me and you're absolutely healed and you're just a blooming feminine lady that's ready to be a mother. Now, it is important for a child to be with a biological mother and a father. both of them, not only with you, not only, but with father as well. Now, you can have a whole bunch of stepfathers for your child, but the biological father is the father that the child chose. So have like a little respect for that. The child chose particular father. Yeah, maybe he's no good as you think. Maybe he's a bad experience, maybe this or that. But for the child, it is the perfect, most ideal version. The child chose him. Allow him to experience that father in his life. Now, and also, in the systemic approach, if you didn't watch this dialogue, watch it. The systemic approach to life, I told you that you have relationship with the child and the father has the relationship with the child. Those relationships are separate. They don't intermingle anyhow. Now you have relationship with the father, whatever it is, and you might not even be on the speaking terms with the father. That's fine. This is your relationship with the father. Don't involve the kid in it. The kid has his relationship or her relationship with the father and has her relationship with you. Don't bring the kid in your problems with her father. Remember, the kid has nothing to do with your relationship. Your relationship with your parents, with your friends, with your partners is only your relationship. Don't bring the kid in and don't involve. So remember, for the child, that father is the perfect one. And you have nothing to do in their system. So their relationship is just their relationship. Whatever they're doing, it's for the benefit of the child, for his development. So if the child spends with the father a whole week and all they eat is pizza and ice cream, that's what the child needs right now. So let them eat pizza and ice cream, and at one point the child will make maybe his kind of some kind of conclusions. Like me, I was in Italy and I was eating pasta and pizza. Right now I'm eating tomatoes every day because I just couldn't do no more pasta and pizza. So allow the child to experience and grow in his choices. Kind of doesn't mean that you shouldn't be protecting. You're protecting the child, but this is not a stranger. This is his father, and her father will never hurt the child. I guarantee you. In a man, caring is that dominant kind of natural thing. Fathers are actually better carers than mothers because it is what they're programmed for. They grow through caring. So you think that the father won't be able to care for the kid? You are mistaken. He probably will care for the kid better than you would, and you shouldn't even care for the kid. You should give kid a love and inspiration, and I will get to that anyways. But that's basically it. Don't believe that if you leave the child with the father, the child will not survive. He will survive and he will be fine, and they will grow in this relationship together. Okay. Remember also that the parents are the roots for the children. I'm not sure whether you did the meditation, the parents meditation. If you didn't do it, it's very strong, very powerful, and energy charged. But in that meditation, I basically help to reconnect with your ancestral roots. So our parents are our roots, and nobody wants to know that the roots are rotten. So you need to make sure that your child grows with the idea that his roots are the best, the strongest, the healthiest, and all that. So one thing that you shouldn't be talking bad about yourself, you should always position yourself as a strong kind of person, self-sufficient person. You also need to make sure that you speak the same way about the father of the child. No matter what you feel about the father, well, ideally you should also feel like that, but you need to at least speak highly about the father. Remember, it is your maybe hurt ego that's that influencing your words right now. But for the child, it is important to know that his parents are the best. These are his roots, and in life he will always be somewhat wounded if he wouldn't have this great security, this great kind of rooted like feeling. So make sure it's crucial. I mean, it is so crucial. I knew this lady. She had a son The son was a troubled teenager, and she didn't know what to do with him. So, and every time I spoke to her, she's like, so how I know her? She used to be my client, but not my client in finances. And she always used to say, his father was always a troublemaker, and he's growing just to be like this all the time. And I said, I hope you don't speak like this in front of your son. And she's like, why not? It's true. It's the truth. And I told her, why don't you change your approach? Why don't you start talking about his father differently? Why don't you start showing the son his father's strengths? So I actually sacrificed my time, and instead of talking to her about investments, we actually had a list that we wrote down why the father of her son was a good person. What are his strengths? And we wrote that list, and she had to mention one strength to her son every single day. This was my first my first coaching experiences when I was not even yet a mentor at that time, but I was practicing my knowledge on people that I knew. And what do you think? In 3 months, only 3 months, it took a teenage boy from being absolutely bad, using sometimes forbidden substances and being in a bad company, and somehow like and being really having bad grades. He really turned around his life. He became, I don't know about his grades, but I know he started some kind of online business with his friend, and he completely stopped using whatever he was using, and he changed his social circle. And I know that I spoke to her 2 years after, because I already didn't work, but she called me once and she said, I'm grateful to you that you said that. And we did that list because my son's life changed completely. So I hope this example will inspire you. Never speak bad about, and if you are a man and you're listening, never speak bad about the mother of your child. Remember, for the child, these are the only parents. You and the father, or you and the mother, are the only parents. There won't be another another set of parents that the child can inherit from somewhere. You're the only ones. And because you're the only ones, you need to make sure that the child feels strong about both of his parents. There's no need in speaking poorly about his father or his mother, or putting your projections on a child. Let the child think, maybe being a little delusional, but let him think that his parents are the strongest, the bestest, and the bestest. I love that word. Okay, so that's basically it. Put your ego down a little bit, and since you have a child, allow him to grow, to have a different life and to grow differently. So it is important. Most of women that speak badly about men are just wounded. Their ego is hurt, and they want to make sure that everybody around knows about that. There's no point. So now another thing is, for kids, the parents, especially the mother, is like a god. For the child, when the child is born, most of the time the child spends with the parents, especially with the mother. So the mother becomes something of a living god for the child. Now the child believes everything the mother says. The child kind of learns to worship this person, because first of all, the life of the child depends on that person, and second, it is the only living being that he's socializing most of the time. So whether you want it or not, whether you mistreat your child or not, the child still looks at you as God. Now, if you mistreat your kid, the kid will not stop loving you. The kid will stop loving himself or herself, because this is how he or she thinks. I'm not good enough to be loved by this goddess or God. So before punishing the child, think twice. Do you really need to punish the child? Because the child will grow with insecurities that he has or she has to kind of earn the love, that she needs to constantly prove herself to make sure that she's loved. Instead of punishing, why not to give love? Remember, a mother is the one that gives love and support to the child. She is the one that creates this bond. She should love and support the child no matter what. So even if he came home all dirty, or I'm not sure, you shouldn't be shouting at the child. You should be, my God, you look so cute. Let's clean you up. So remember, this is very important. Very important. I noticed this myself with people around me. I know exactly what their childhood was. I remember I was talking to this guy, and he was always making fun of himself. And I know exactly why. He believes that he could be loved only when he's cute and people are laughing at him. I assume in his childhood, that's only when parents were paying attention to him. When he was cute and they were laughing at him. Now, he doesn't believe that he could be loved just because he is. So make sure that you love your kids, and then definitely don't punish them. Like in my culture, parents pay attention to children when they like fall down and they start crying, or when they're sick and they need like support. So a lot of people grew up with the notion that that if they're sick or sad, they will be loved. So they put a lot of emphasis on pity, like feel sorry for me, and then you will love me. Which is wrong. Um, Remember this. This is very important. Make sure that your child grows knowing that he's loved no matter what. That he doesn't need to jump through hoops to make sure that he is loved by the people that are closest to him. The child needs to live in the society, needs to have a partner at one point. Make sure that he doesn't have to, that he doesn't need to prove himself or for that love, or fight for that love. Okay, the next one is around 11-12 years old, the child starts separating from the mother and the father. At that time, he or she could be a little closer to the father and could be less close to the mother. He or she is still very close to the mother, but the separation starts. So you will notice at that time the child wants like a little privacy, maybe wants to be by himself or herself a little more. Also that time they start having friends. And the friends are sometimes more authority than the parents. Why? Because they're learning their way in a society. They feel secure and rooted with their parents. Right now, they need to experience more. They need to experience the society. This is it is normal, and would be good if you don't hold them. You actually need to make sure that you separate correctly, that it's a smooth kind of process, and you don't spoil it just because you think that your child is a little kid till forever. If you won't allow them to separate, the child will have problems with bonding with people afterwards. Now, if you separate them very fast, so you just, okay, tend to yourself now and just be with your friends, the child will also start looking for a mother-father figure in friends. So you need to make sure that neither of those happen. You kind of still show them that you love them, you support them, but at this moment, a father starts showing more how to tend for themselves, how to care about themselves, and how to provide for themselves. This is a good time to show them, to teach them masculinity. So if you, while the child is growing, it's 11, 12, you still more teaching them how to be more feminine, how to love, how to feel. But after 11, 12, this is when they want to be more masculine. And if you did my meditation, heal your inner child, you will know that, you will feel it. So make sure that that this is what is happening. If the child wants to spend more time with the father, let him spend time more with his father. Don't overprotect the kid, and don't put guilt on the child. Like, oh, we used to go to the park together, we used to hold hands, now you don't want to hold hands, you don't love my mom. Don't ever say this. This is very bad. The child wants to experience life, and now you're here with your guilt. I mean, it's just not right. Make sure it is important. Also, remember, motherhood is only 25% of your time. So while the child is just born and it's an infant, maybe you have to spend more time with the child. But overall, as soon as your child can cater somewhat to himself, to herself, as long as she can walk, eat on her own, you shouldn't spend more than 25% with the child, especially when the child starts to separate. You have 3 more roles. You are a wife, whether you have a husband or not. You are still a woman and you're still a creator. Make sure that you don't neglect those roles. Yes, it's important to be a mother, no doubts, but you still need to make sure that your life is not stuck on a kid. Otherwise, you will put all yourself in that child, and then it will be very hard for you to separate from him. Whether you want it or not, energetically, you will be always pressuring him. You will always want to know what he's doing, how he's doing, who he is with. And even when he will have a family or she will have a family, you will be always in there too. Because everything you did for that child. And I heard a lot of those stories and I experienced a lot of those stories. This is not normal. I seen, and this is especially happened with women in dirty femininity, when they sacrifice their whole life for the sake of the kid, and then they're basically like demand the retribution and compensation for all of that. This is not right. And what you will do, you will just push a child away as far as the child could possibly get. And I see it in my relatives, in my friends. I saw this. I saw crazy stories. Don't do that. You should have your own life. You're a self-sufficient person, and the child should have her own life. And 25% you spend together, just as a mother and child. 25% until the child is grown up. Remember, so. Once the child reaches the maturity, you don't spend 25%. You are nurturing other projects. Maybe you can do some charity. Maybe you open a business and you will be nurturing that business. So only 25% until the child is matured. When you are spending 25% only with the child and thinking about the child, this is also important. If you think that you are only seeing the child half an hour a day, but you're thinking about him or her 24/7, energetically, you're invading his or her space. Make sure this is not like this. Make sure you have other thoughts to occupy your mind. I mean, life is beautiful. Why not to think about something else? Think about man in your life. Think about your projects. Think about your vacations. Think about anything else. You only help the child to develop. You don't own his life. So this is important. So even thinking about the child 24/7, you shouldn't do. When a child reaches 18 or 21 in United States years old, he or she should separate from a parent completely. Usually it happens naturally. So the child starts dating somebody, then they start living together, and they marry, whatever happens. Now, if it doesn't, in our society, it doesn't happen like this. I mean, they do start dating, but nobody is getting married at 19. Not sure whether it's good or bad, but still. But you should allow the child to separate completely from you. Actually, you should, even if the child could not do this, you should push the child out. Because if you don't, the relationship between you and the kid will become unhealthy. And I will tell you why. You see, when the child is 11, 12, he starts having friends. Then with time, he starts having a girlfriend. By that time, he should be already maybe having maybe some part-time job. He already knows like what he wants to do, maybe go to college. You already taught him how to invest money. You already taught him about the importance of kind of creating security for himself. His father taught him that, obviously. So the kid needs to experience now. It cannot be everything in theory. He needs to kind of now go and live for himself. Yeah, you can tell him all the time that eggs are expensive and he shouldn't be wasting eggs well, not probably the eggs. Let's do soap. Like, so the soap is expensive. He shouldn't be just wasting soap. But he need to feel it. He need to live and buy soap and buy eggs for himself to know that they're expensive or not expensive, especially if it's a boy. A girl, yeah, she's kind of, it's different, especially if she's grown up in a feminine energy. She can stay with the parents as long as she's allowed her own privacy and her own life. Remember, but the boy, he grows in challenges, grows in hardships. So you need to make sure that he is on his own, kind of. In Sparta, they used to send the 10-year-old boys to the woods and see whether he will survive or not for a month. Now we are obviously not doing that, but when the son is a grown-up man, I mean, he needs to experience life on his own. Now, don't when the child lives on his own, don't indulge your ego and believe that he wouldn't do without you, that you need to help him choose the towels and choose the pillows and everything. The child will do fine. Okay, maybe he wouldn't pick the best towels at this moment, but it's okay. He will learn. He probably will get a girlfriend that will tell him, listen, these towels are just no good. Let's get different ones. It's okay for him. I mean, love him and support him, but let him experience love. Now, if you have a daughter, allow her to experience life herself. Femininity doesn't grow in hardships, but she still need to experience life. So even if she lives with you, she needs to have obviously privacy in her own life. Don't get involved with your kids' life. Don't ask them what they're doing, who they're dating. They will tell you themselves. Trust me. As long as you don't judge, don't get involved too much. Now, as a mother, you should always inspire, support, and give absolute love to the child. The child should feel like this, and you should feel towards your mom like this. No matter what, at least my mom loves me, supports me, and she encourages me in everything that I do. It is a hugely important feeling for anybody to have. Like, no matter what I do in my life and the changes that I did in my career, I mean, at least I was feeling like this. At least my mom will understand me and she will support me. And that gave me a huge boost of confidence. It is very important. So no matter what your child do, give him that. Give him this love, support, and inspiration. Trust me. And you probably know as well. We all know when we're doing something wrong or when we are not. And it's up to us to clean our mess. But when we know that our mom loves us, and our father can create the security, like, we clean our mess much faster, and we get on the right path much faster as well. Now, as a father, one should help develop in the society, teach how to provide for himself or herself, and how to socialize. Father teaches the security. With the father, you and your children should feel like you should feel like you can call your father at any moment and ask for rent or ask for a couple $1,000, and you know your father will do it. Yes, I know you're not going to call. You're not obviously not going to ask your father, and you shouldn't. Once the child is grown up, the child should tend to himself. But you have this good feeling, and this feeling gives a huge security. So if you know that you can reach out to your father and your father will help you, it gives you this boost of confidence. You will find the money. You will find the money regardless. But you will feel much stronger with that knowledge. Like, I remember my father. He was very proud that he never took money from his parents since he was like a student. He was always having like some jobs, or I'm not sure what he was. But he always knew that he can reach out to his father and ask for money, and my grandfather would give him that money. And this is what gave him the strength, the confidence. So this is how your child should feel towards you as a woman. He should feel that you love and support and inspire him for anything. And the father should create this security. Ideally, the father should teach the child how to get this security. Even if it's a girl, he still should teach her how to be self-sufficient. A father, for example, if it's a girl, could teach her how to invest, could maybe create some trust for her, and just maybe teach her how she can go about investing, or maybe connect her with a financial advisor that would invest for her. But it is father's job to teach the child how to live in the society, how to provide, how to be self-sufficient. Mother gives the self-love, father gives the self-sufficiency. Now, your communication with the child should be always respectful and confident. You're an authority figure, so no matter how you feel towards your child, no matter how you bonding, until 11, 12, you should give just pure love. And after that, it should be like really respect and confidence. So you don't allow the child to step all over you, but you also don't allow yourself to step all over the child. Like there should be this kind of respectful borders between you two. The borders are soft, obviously. You're not building a wall against your child, but this is how it should be. Make sure that you don't say what you wouldn't say to somebody you really admire, because you do want your kids to be admired and strong. And if you will treat them like you wouldn't want others to treat them, this is just not right. If you will shout and scream at them, maybe even curse at them, others will do the same. The child will get used to such behavior. So make sure your language is very respectful. This is what I should say thank you to my parents. I mean, they always watch how they spoke. I don't know, I think this was natural for them, but they never really shouted or punished us or raised their voice. I mean, my mom was sometimes, but for the most part, they were very respectful. No foul language, no cursing, nothing like that. So I honestly expect the same behavior from everybody else, and this is just how it is in my life. I mean, I don't have anybody who would allow themselves to even to be somewhat disrespectful to me. So, but that's because I am so used to have it since I was a child with my parents, and thanks God with my grandparents as well. But also make sure that you don't allow your children to step all over you, because you wouldn't want, they need to live in the society. You wouldn't want them to have this experience with others. You wouldn't want them to kind of to have problems connecting with people, because they just assume that they allowed anything. So that's basically it. Now, do not ever tell your child your problems, insecurities, and fears, especially your problems. Remember, in the system of life, the child is your child. So you give the child love, the father gives support, and the child takes this energy, moves on with his life, to experience life, to develop. The child is not here to fix your problems. The child is not to be your shrink. The child is not here to be your mentor. The child is here to develop himself. Now, as I wrote here, a child is not your parent, your friend, your sibling, or your partner. It is very crucial. I see it very often when the children become either partners or parents to their parents. I see it very often. And maybe because I also spent some time in the role of a partner and then in the role of a parent for my mom after my father passed away. And it was a seems like rewarding experience, but really it was a very painful experience from which it took me some time to get out. So don't allow your children in any of these roles. This is also usually happens from what I see when couples divorce and the child take somebody's side, either father or the mother. So when he takes one of the, like for example, he lives with the mother and the mother is all broken, so he unknowingly becomes a partner to the mom. And then once he grew up, he becomes a parent to the mom, which is wrong. So if a mother divorced the father, I mean, this is her issue. This is her kind of, okay, so she find another guy, or maybe she will not find another guy, but this is her development. A child has nothing to do with helping her coping with this drama. Honestly, she probably wouldn't even divorce the guy if she wouldn't put probably the child ahead of the partner. But this is a different story and different topic. Now, um, no matter what, don't put your child into those roles. Remember, child is not your parent. He's not supposed to be helping you, catering to you, anything like that. He's not your friend, so don't gossip with the child. Don't tell your problems and your kind of your ideas to the child. Again, child is not your friend. Please don't put him in that category. Child is not your sibling. So again, don't share with like you would do with your sibling some kind of secrets and kind of and bond with them on that level. And definitely, a child is not your partner. So because he's not your partner, make sure don't don't put him in that role. Basically, a child is not supposed to be mentally supporting you, creating you this kind of bond and love. You shouldn't be sleeping with the child in one bed. I mean, just because you miss somebody close to you, it is very important. Honestly, it is so important you can imagine. I seen stories, and those stories were not healthy at all. And the children that grew up, I mean, they had traumas, real traumas. And I have those traumatic children as my clients right now. You wouldn't want your child to be there. Now, why is it important? You will say, well, the child will grow up and he will move on and he will find, he will just live his life. No, he wouldn't. That's the thing. That if the child is placed in the wrong role with the parents, with you, when he will grow up, he will not know what to do with himself. He will not know what is his right role. So if he's a parent to his mother, he will be a parent to everybody around him, like me. I was a parent to my mom. I was parenting everybody. And I was thinking, why men don't, why do I have difficulties with being with men? Maybe because I start parenting them for no reason. I mean, I have a man next to me, a strong, masculine man. Why am I teaching him how to live? So this is important. Or when a child is a friend to the parents, then he becomes like a friend to everybody. He tries to bond with everybody as a friend, which is also wrong. Because certain people are friends, but certain are not. And, and there is just a limit to that. So you wouldn't want your kid to be confused. You would want him to be self-sufficient, strong person, like a girl that is lost, that becomes a partner to her father. She will always look for kind of a daddy in her life. I mean, you wouldn't want that. You want her to have an equal partner. Yeah, so make sure, this is important. This is so important. I don't even know how to stress now. And one more, a child comes to learn and develop. Don't impose your own insecurities and your own ambitions on the child. I saw it in my childhood very much, not from my parents. Thanks God, my parents really didn't care much. But I saw it from other people. I remember my sister is a ballerina, and I was taking her sometimes to the ballet class, and I remember this woman there. She was a friend of my mom. They became friends because both of their daughters were starting to be ballerinas. I don't know what was her story, but she got two daughters and she wanted them to be ballerinas, both of them. She put a lot of effort and a lot of she pulled all her connections for them to kind of to study. Now, but her goals, I mean, one of them, she became a ballerina, but the second one were not, she didn't even have the physical capabilities of becoming a ballerina. She was she was not slim or tall. And I know you will tell me, well, anybody can become ballerina, anybody can. But at that time in my country, that country where I lived at that time, it was not an option. So basically, she put all that effort into the child. The child was not even sure whether she wanted to do it or not. And at the end, the child became lost because she didn't follow her kind of impulses. She followed her mom's ambitions. So make sure you don't do that. The child is here to learn and to develop herself. if she wants to try something, or he, let him try, but don't impose your wishes on that on a child, basically. Now, I also wanted to say something. The child doesn't owe you anything at all. The child came into your life when you were ready to develop as a mother. So he kind of did you a favor a little bit, that he came into your life for you to develop. Yes, you did put a lot of effort. You sacrificed maybe your body to bring the child into life. Yes, you didn't sleep nights. Yes, you did this and this and this. But honestly, the child doesn't owe you nothing. Energy only goes forward. Again, if you didn't watch Systemic Approach to Life, watch it. Energy only goes forward, never backwards. So don't expect the child constantly looking at you and kind of delivering to you. Energy only goes forward. Your child will be happy only when he will be thinking about himself or herself and about her future, her kids, and everything else. Don't impose any kind of guilt, or you don't talk to me anymore, or you don't call me anymore. Be happy. The child has a life. That's great. Don't impose any kind of, oh, others buy mother's presents and you don't. Your kid doesn't owe you nothing. He doesn't have to buy you anything. I mean, that's good that your child is a grown-up, healthy person. That's already a rewarding kind of feeling. The child obviously doesn't owe you any kind of money, so please don't put that. Don't put manipulations like, oh, I wish I had money to buy a new couch, but I don't. I mean, again, as children to our parents, you probably know the parents are till now as living gods. Even if sometimes we just basically leave them and never speak to them again, we still have this nagging kind of guilt hanging on us. So please make sure that you don't impose these feelings onto your children. It's very, very important. Very important. Nobody owes you nothing, and especially your children. And also remember another thing. You only can teach your child. This is actually the only person in this life that you can teach your child, only till they're of age. Once they're of age, they're their own person, and you don't impose with your teachings on that grown-up independent person. This is also important. We don't teach anybody but our own children, and we only teach them until the age of maturity. Once they mature, they're an independent person with their own ideas, with their own kind of thoughts and beliefs, and let them live their life and have their own experiences. Unless the child will ask for help or support, or maybe your thoughts on something, then you can share your experience. But don't impose your knowledge on somebody who don't ask. Respect the child so others will respect the child. So the child will be used to be respected by others. It is important, honestly, very important. Now, this topic is very wide and I have a lot to say, but I think for this dialogue, this is enough. If you have any questions, ask. As I said again, this is energetic and systemic roots. And from what I saw, from what I experienced, and from what some of my clients are telling me, it really, really does help. It helped them with their children. It helped them in their lives. I remember I had this lady, we don't work together right now because she has some other projects, she's pretty busy, but I think I helped her a lot and she was ever thankful to me. Her issue was okay, this might sound a little harsh, but she started hating being a mother. Like her kids were basically irritating her. She was almost regretting being a mother, so to say. And this is obviously wrong feeling. I mean, the kids, they feel that they are not needed. And I helped her at some point. So she got a lot of masculine energy, and she wanted to do a lot with her life. And she felt like kids were basically holding her down, which was not true. This is not true. Kids never holding us down. They have enough of their own energy. They usually help us to grow. So I started working with her. And I think at first I inspired her a little bit because I work with her energy, so I lighten her up. I give her a little motivation, a little inspiration, and then I started working with her a little closer. And her issue was basically she was She was so lost in her life that she had somebody to blame, and who can she blame? She was divorced, so she was blaming her own children. Now, children has nothing to do with with her misfortune, so to say. She even had children because she was lost. So she thought that maybe if she had children, her life would get some kind of meaning. Now, but that didn't happen. Obviously, the life didn't get any kind of meaning, and she was lost again. So I was working with her. We balanced her roles. If you didn't watch this dialogue, watch it. The roles of women. We balanced her roles. We found what she was kind of passionate about. She got a job, and she left that job. She started doing something else remotely, and she started developing her hobby a little bit, and she started making money with that hobby. And she stopped being in her kids' life all the time. So the kids she kind of allowed them to develop on their own a little bit. She focused on herself more, on her dating life, on herself, on her appearance. And apparently the kids were not a burden anymore. She really enjoyed spending time with them when they were together. So what I want to say is that you need to make sure that you have the right balance. When you have children, children are not your whole life. They are only 25% of your life. I even knew a woman a long time ago in my childhood. She got divorced with the guy, and what she did, instead of keeping the children and using them as manipulation tool, which you never should do, she actually took the kids to her father and went on like on an extensive vacation for like 2 months or something. And when he said, I mean, why did you do that? She said, well, you make it more money, you can take better care of our kids. So long story short, he came back to her. But what I want to say is, don't be afraid to separate yourself from children. Nothing will happen to them. I mean, they will learn how to live life, and they probably will be doing good with you or without you, or with with their father. So, and it also doesn't mean that they will forget you. They won't forget you. You are the same energy, at least until 12 years old. So these are a couple stories that hopefully will inspire you, inspire me to become better mothers. But for the most part, remember one thing: a child comes to develop, to experience life. Allow him that. A child comes when you're ready to develop and experience being mother. So be a little grateful that the child came into your life to experience that. And that's basically it. You don't owe anything to your, this is something I should mention, you don't owe anything to your child but to keep the child healthy and alive. So if you feel like you need to take a child to figure skating, to soccer games, should give the piano lessons, should give tutors and private coaches, this is all unnecessary. These are all your kind of insecurities. All the child needs is a loving mom, a supportive father, a roof over his head, and food, and that's it for the most part. If you think that you need to buy your child a Lamborghini for the sweet 16th birthday, I mean, these are just your ambitions. The child probably doesn't really even care about Lamborghini. I mean, it would be nice if you give him the Lamborghini or any other car, but this is not required of you. All you need to do for your child is to give their life and to make sure the child grows into maturity. So food, health, education, and basically roof over the house, over the head, and that's it. You don't owe nothing to the child doesn't owe nothing to you. But you just guys like live helping to develop each other. That's basically it. Don't overcomplicate it. All you need to do is love, support, and inspiration to the child. Make sure you don't speak bad about the father. Make sure you don't make your child a friend, a relative, a mother, a partner. Make sure that the child stays in his role. Even if the child asks, Mom, what is wrong? I mean, are you upset? Did somebody just say something like this? The mom is a little upset right now, but I will be fine. And if the child asks, is this the father that hurt you? You will say, no. Our relationship with the father is our relationship. We will make sure we will work it out. Don't you worry about that. Remember, for the child, parents are gods and roots, and those roots need to be strong and not rotten. So make sure that that this is how it is. Now, also remember that the child chose you. You don't choose the child. And you will only get the child when you are absolutely ready. You are in one energy field with the child until the child is approximately 11-12 years old. So the child contributes his pure energy. Make sure you're contributing really good energy there too. It is extremely important for the child to know the biological mother and father. So don't manipulate with the child your relationship with the father. Make sure the father is present in any form. If the father wants to see a child once a month, let him see once a month. Once a year, fine. Don't it's not your place. Remember, the child has a relationship with the father and relationship with you. You have nothing to do in their relationship. It is their relationship. The child chose that father. Maybe he didn't choose the best father as you think, but this is his choice. Let him experience his choice. And remember that the man, it is in their DNA to care, so he will be fine with the father. Make sure you always speak highly about the father. Remember to spend only 25% with the child. Give the space for the child and for yourself. Allow the child to start separating from you. Don't speak bad about their friends, their partners, or anybody. Allow him to experience, to bond with other people, to kind of to have a life of his own, to experience other people, not just you and the grandparents. And that's basically it. I hope this video is helpful. I do hope you will learn something new from it, and I hope it will be helpful in your future role as a mother. Or if you're a mother right now, maybe you can learn something and implement as it is. If you have questions, ask. I will gladly answer them. And that's it. Thank you. Bye.